me. First of all, I'd like to give you greeting, brother Imam Al Amin. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother Qadir.
I noticed you were the one that gave the khutbah here for the Eid celebration today. Here, the Unity Eid, you gave the khutbah.
Yes, I gave the khutbah for the Friday prayer, the Jummah khutbah.
Okay.
Yes.
So just introduce yourself and talk a little bit.
Yes, I'm Imam Abu Qadir Al Amin. I'm an Imam from the San Francisco Muslim Community Center. Yeah, so I've been a part of the community here since the late 60s, but more directly since 1978 here in the Oakland, San Francisco area. So I have the distinction and privilege of having been given my Ijaza authorization to teach the religion of Islam by our esteemed Imam W.D. Muhammad in 1980. So that's on my resume. I'm fortunate to have studied with Imam W.D. Muhammad. Thank Allah for his tutelage and his years and years of service in educating people all over the country to help prepare our leadership for the future. And so I'm a part of that line and trying to do more to encourage our young people to accept responsibility for leading the work of developing Muslim community life here in America. And I'm happy to be working with my brothers, Imam Wali, Imam Asmar and Bashir, and other imams in the area. We have a collective responsibility that we're working in our places, but we're collectively working together, inshallah, toward the same aim.
So you're the Imam in San Francisco, right?
Yes, I'm the Imam at the San Francisco Muslim Community Center, located at 4760 Mission Street in Excelsior District, near City College.
So how long have you been the Imam in San Francisco?
I've been serving as the Imam in San Francisco since 1984. Prior to that, I served as Imam here in Oakland at Masjid, what was called Masjid Muhammad at that time, later called Masjid Warathin. And then I served as Imam over in San Rafael, Marin City, and currently doing some work with the Dawah team in Vallejo.
So now, how did you get your position as an Imam in Oakland?
Imam W.D. Muhammad appointed me as Imam in 1980.
That was right after when?
That was, he served as our Imam for about a year. He had been visiting the area 2 or 3 times a year prior to that, when Imam Mustafa Hassan was our Imam. Prior to that, Imam Muhammad Abdullah was our Imam.
Talk about in Oakland.
In Oakland. Imam, and prior to that, Imam John Fakir. So under Imam John Fakir's leadership, the property was purchased at 47th and Bond Street. And then after Imam Fakir, Imam Bashir Salam, Usman Mekki, Benjamin Nuruddin, they all assisted Imam Muhammad Abdullah and John Fakir. And then after that, Imam Muhammad Abdullah's health was failing, and we needed a younger Imam, and Andrew Mustafa Hassan came up here from Los Angeles by appointment and served as our Imam until he had some complications in his ratification, and Imam W.D. Muhammad came to the area, I believe, 1979, late 1979, early 1980, and became our Imam at the masjid in Oakland.
He left and then he assigned me.
And when he left, he assigned me as the Imam at Masjid Muhammad.
Great. So I just want to, the brothers here all tying in. Oh, matter of fact, I want to ask you, did you do any chaplain work in the prisons also?
I served as the chaplain at FCI in Pleasanton for about 8 or 9 months, 1984. So I served there for about a year, and then the community in San Francisco was looking for an Imam because Imam Numan Amin Abdullah had some bronchial problems, and I went over there at their request to become the Imam, and been serving there ever since. I've been trying to get relieved. When I went to prison, you know, I made a very serious mistake in my life, and I really acknowledged that I needed to change some things about myself. Some of my thinking, some of my behavior that led me to be incarcerated in the first place. So when I became a Muslim, I began to incorporate the message of Islam to address my character deficiencies. So I began to work on changing those things about myself that led me to be in trouble in the first place. So, you know, it was a lot of good counsel in there when I was there too. You know, from people who were older than me, that had more life experience than me, that offered me some guidance and some insights on some things that I could do once I did get out. And they encouraged me to get out and be a part of the Muslim community, to make a commitment to be a part of the masjid community, the Ummah of Islam. So at that time we had chaplains coming into the prison. Imam John Fakir was coming in, Earl Shaw, Imam Bashir Salam was coming in. So I met these men and they encouraged me to come out and be a part of the community. So I did that, and they supported me when I came home. Of course, I wanted to be there anyway, so it wasn't like they had to look for me to go fish me into the masjid. You know, I wanted to be in the masjid, and I really wanted to change my life, and I saw Islam as giving me a new lease on life, where I could do a remake. I could remake myself in the image of Islam, with the words of Islam, the principles of Islam, the disciplines of Islam, and it made me a new person. And then for years, I worked going into the prisons, offering guidance and instruction to prisoners about what kind of things they needed to do to have a successful re-entry back into the community. So I'm a cognitive restructuring behavior modification therapist, unlicensed, but also a licensed therapist, drug and alcohol counselor. So 80% of the people who go to jail and prison in the United States are there as a result of underlying drug and alcohol problems. They may be in there for robbery, but the thing that caused them to rob was a drug addiction. Or they may be in there for battery or assault, but the underlying problem was they did this while they were under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So if you go in prison and you don't address those underlying factors that contributed to your breaking the laws in the first place, then you're taking Islam and you're putting it on top of something. Right. And you're stuffing it. Instead of getting those desires and those things out of your system, you're just putting something on top of it. And then they have a kind of change they call pendulum change. Pendulum change is when you, in this situation, you're in court, you're in jail, you're in front of the parole board, you're in the visiting room with your wife. Oh, baby, when I get out, I'm not going to do that again. That's pendulum change. Or you're in front of the parole board. If you give me a chance, I'm going to be a good citizen. But then when you get out and the pendulum swing over here and you're outside again, now you got to deal with the influences. Right. Your old friends, your old associates, those things they call triggers. You see the guy, the drug dealer, you see the drug transaction going on, you see the friend you used to have that say, hey, I got the sack, I'm gonna put you back on. All of those things come into play. And so the change was sincere when you were in this situation, but now you're over here, the pendulum swing is another thing. So the real change has to be a significant emotional event in your life. That's where lasting change comes from. Sometimes that lasting change may be, oh, I lost a job and I lost my wife as a result of losing that job, and it destroyed my family. I'm gonna never put myself in that situation again. That may be a motivation for a person to become a business owner, because they had a significant emotional event that caused them to change something about them that enabled them to go to another level. So this is part of what happened. And then they have what they call change by exception. This is the people who make excuses. They say, oh, Wali did it, but Wali, he's exceptional. Well, you know, that's not real change. He's not exceptional. He's changed because he follows certain principles. So some people think that the people who made it, well, they're different than me. No, we're all the same. But we have to follow the formulas, we have to follow the prescriptions, and when we follow them, we get the results. It's just like when you bake a cake. If you follow the recipe,
yes.
If you follow the recipe, then the outcome is generally going to be right. The temperature was right, the time you left it in the oven, you're going to get a good outcome. What people do is they don't want to follow recipes. They don't want to follow the formula. They don't want to go see the parole officer. They don't want to go get a job. They want to do what they want to do, right. And their own best thinking is what led them to prison in the first place. Right. So, you know, we have to change the thinking. Right. You know, you have to think differently. And then you have to have some remorse about whatever you did. And when you come to the community, they don't owe you anything. You owe the community something. We paid for the people in jail and prison. We paid for their food, their clothes, their toilet paper. The taxpayers pay for all of that for years. And then they come out thinking somebody owe them something. No, you owe me something. Right. You know, so.
So now how did you deal with you? Now you said influences. Now I know you probably had influences when you came out, negative influences.
Right.
How were you able to combat that? Is it change of environment or what?
Sometimes
that give you the strength to be able to fight off the temptation.
Well, I stayed in association with these brothers. Okay. So me being in association with these men, Wali not gonna let me do nothing wrong in front of him. Okay. So he becomes what we call a protective factor. He's protecting my life through our association. We used to say it like this: men sharpen men and steel sharpen steel. Right. So when we associate with good people, that goodness rub off. Right. And then we strengthen each other. We add value to the other person's life by being a good support for them. So though I wasn't seeking it as a support system, that's what it is. In recovery, they have what they call protective factors that will help keep you in recovery. One of them is meetings. Well, we meet. We go to the masjid. We go to prayer. That's a meeting where we're meeting with like-minded people who are doing things that are positive, and that positive replaces the negative. Though the negative is there, we're doing something different that gives us the power, strength, willpower to resist the negative influences. So we develop a power through association with good people and doing the things Islam calls us to do.
Okay, so what I hear is that you're saying in order to stay strong from the negative influences is when you come out as a prisoner, surround yourself with positive people, positive,
right,
in association with positive.
Right, and yourself too. You have to stay positive. You have to have a determination. Okay. That's your individual determination, because you may have to deal with the negative environment. Mm-hmm. You know, well, I wasn't around them all the time. The times when I was around them, that was a rebuilding process, strengthening, encouragement. We get encouragement for each other. And then when I'm around negative people, I say, okay, they're negative. I hear what they're talking about. I gotta go. I give them a few minutes. I ain't giving them a whole lot of time. I ain't staying in no negative environment too long. If you stay around people smoking cigarettes, you're gonna smell like cigarettes.
That's right.
So if you stay around people who are doing other things that's worse than smoking cigarettes, that's gonna rub off on you too. So association bring about assimilation.
That's right.
So we associate with good people.